Hi, my name is Bastian Smith, and today we're going to be learning about responding to a hazmat incident for level Firefighter 1. One of the first things you're going to look at when you're responding to on the scene is if it's a residential area, a commercial area, or if it's being transported. If it's in a residential area, there may be a greater variety of chemicals or hazardous materials that you may not know of, and there may not be papers or any labeling on them, but they're usually in smaller amounts. As for commercial warehouses, and places like that, they're going to have huge quantities, but they may have MSDS shipping papers, or the manager may know what they store in there. Sometimes it will be too diverse and too much to tell though. As for transportation, it can be the same way as commercial, pretty much, except they will have placards that may give you clues to what is actually in there. For classification 1 has your explosives with your different divisions being how explosive they actually are. Classification 2 are your gases. Classification 3 is your flammable liquids. Classification 4 are your flammable solids. Classification 5 are your oxidizers and hydrogen peroxides. Classification 6 will be your poisons. Classification 7 will be your radioactive stuff. Classification 8 will be corrosive. And classification 9 is for all your mixed miscellaneous stuff. Some numbers to call if you ever need help with anything is Chemtrek right here. They can give you more information about the hazardous material that you're dealing with, or if there's a spill or anything, the National Response Center can help you there. Another thing that you want to look for when you're responding onto the scene is if there's any hills with where the wind current is going, if there's leaking water, or anything that's going to spread the hazardous material even more. You want to make sure you don the appropriate attack gear and protective gear so that you are perfectly fine. And one of the ways to do that is to look up the MSDS if you know what the actual material is. Right here is material and safety data sheet for hydrogen cyanide. Hydrogen cyanide, it will tell you, is a colorless gas that tastes like almond. It comes with this diamond placard here that will tell you the basic health risks, with blue being your health, red being the flammability, and yellow being the reactivity. As you can tell, it's highly hazardous to your health, highly flammable, and somewhat reactive. It is lighter than air, which it will be useful to know so that you can stay low to the ground, as you know it's going to be higher up. It can cause suffocation with short-term exposure. It gives you your first aid measures here, and even an antidote for the physicians. It gives you firefighting measures, handling and storage, and the proper personal protective gear you should have. This one is saying you should wear appropriate chemical resistant clothing, chemical resistant gloves, ventilation, and wear splash resistant safety goggles with the face shield, and have a respirator. And then it goes on to talk about the stability and reactivity levels. Another really helpful tool for trying to figure out what the hazardous material is, but it's for transportation, is the emergency response guidebook. I don't have one, but you can look through that, and the placards on the transportation labels will have the number a 4-digit number usually that you can look up in the emergency response guidebook, and it will tell you pretty much the same information as the MS and DS. The next thing what you're going to want to do when you get to a hazardous material incident is set up an incident command system. You're going to want to make a hot zone, a warm zone, and a cold zone. You're going to want a rehab center, a decontamination zone, which is right outside the right where their escape route, the exit route, so that they can wash off there. Here I drew up an example plan for if there was a warehouse. Right here is the victim. Here is the hydrogen cyanide that was released. You can tell that it's been contained in this room right here, so that's why the hot zone is only right there and not the whole building. The manager in this scenario, he's already told me that it was the hydrogen cyanide and it was an attempted suicide. And things to watch out for when going to calls like this is there could be booby traps because they are attempting suicide and they don't want anybody to ruin that. But you can draw one of these out for your incident, or while you're managing the incident command center as well. The chain of command goes to the highest ranking officer, the most experienced. If they're the first people there, there's no officer. And I'm going to show you how to properly take off your gear if it was contaminated when you get outside. I'm going to use this as a turnout coat, and because I don't have any of the proper gear right now, this will be my SCBA. And this will be my face piece regulator. With the face shield, I don't have any safety goggles or glasses or anything, but imagine that's here as well. Because it's hydrogen cyanide that I would be going into, and it would be really quick, I could most likely use my bunker gear because as a chemical resistant liner, but it would need to be washed thoroughly before use again. And so it would be better to have a fully protective chemical suit. So when you first come out, you're going to want to take off your outer gloves first. Take your SCBA, remove it, and keep it in front of you. And keep your face piece on the entire time. And you still have your inner gloves on. Take the helmet off if you haven't already. Next comes the coat, off and over. Next are the suspenders and coat, which goes with your boots. And you still have your inner gloves on at this point, and your face mask with your SCBA connected. Now you may take this off with your hood, carefully making sure you don't breathe it in or anything. And keep the pressure on so that it will keep positive pressure on your face in clear air. And now you can take off your inside gloves by taking your thumb and putting it on the inside and pulling it out so it's inside out when it's done. Hold on to it, and do the same thing on this side. Now you have both gloves in a little ball, and you can throw that in the bag that you have laid out for you in the decontamination zone and everything. So that is everything you need to know about responding to a hazmat incident. Thank you.